Magic the Gathering players, this is Andatesh Ordo, and today I'm going to be doing the rest of the spoilers that were spoiled, the rest of August 9 and August 10. It's been a while since I've gotten to this. I apologize for that because this is August 12. So I'm going to go ahead and cover them really quick and let you know what I like about the cards. So first one that came out, last one I did was Edgar Markov, the family member of Soren Markov. So yeah. We got New Blood. 4 mana as an additional cost to cast New Blood. Tap and untap vampire you control. Gain control of target creature. Change the text of that creature by replacing all instances of one creature type with vampire. So basically, regardless of what creature it is, it becomes a vampire. Unless it still has a changeling effect, but I think that may still actually also change it to vampire as well. So it's a super vampire. It's a vampire, or a vampire, whatever. That's kind of cool. A way to steal a creature. But you also have to tap a untap vampire. So if someone kills, or you don't have any vampires out, you're SOL on getting that card. The next other commander that they use is Mathis Fiend Seeker. 1 of each color and 3/3 for a menace. At the beginning of your end step, put a bounty counter on target creature an opponent controls. For as long as that creature has a bounty on it, it has whenever this creature dies, each opponent draws a card and gains 2 life. That's insane. And I have seen some gameplay online with this. I don't remember the site right off, but yes, it's a really interesting card. Sucks to be used against you because, oh, guess what? Now they're gonna kill the creature that you actually have a bounty creature on counter. So yeah, that's kind of a cool effect. So the next one, well, I will admit this one would be a good vampire to swap through. Actually, in the 3-color vampire deck that you see here, red, white, and black, I say all 3 of them could be swapped out as the commander. Oh, I went the wrong way. Haha. All 3 of them could be swapped out as the commander if someone's playing one and you go by rules of only one commander of the one name. At least you can still play vampires with one of the others. So, hey, it works. Kindred Charge. 4 mana, 4 colors, and 2 red for choose a creature type. For each creature you control of that chosen type, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those tokens gain haste, then you exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So you can do like a super creature token overrun type of effect. So you get a copy. So you got all, and even if you have tokens. So if you have zombie tokens, you have zombie tokens that actually create more zombie tokens, which is really nice. So, or any other creature token. So fairy is if you're running a Grixis fairy deck. Sorry about that. Grixis fairy, you got fairies that'll go. So actually, it's a pretty good card, I will admit. Actually, one thing I want to go back with Mathis. If you actually do see some of my other videos, I have done a series of videos based on cards that can be reprinted in a way to go into Modern. And Mathis Fiend Seeker might actually be an option for Modern. It'd be a stretch, and Mardu decks would actually use it as some sort of control effect, especially since you're creating bounty, or you throw bounty counters on the opponents. If you get 3 or 4 bounty tokens on a creature, on 4 different creatures, and then you just wrath the board with Damnation, Wrath of God, Blasphemous Act, one of the wrath effects from these 3 colors. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, it dies, so you can't use Anger of Gods. That's the only one that really won't work. But outside of that, yeah, those cards would die. You'd draw 2 to 3 to 4 cards, and you gain 6, 8 life even. Can be really useful. And this one is a card I would like to see actually go into Modern. And even New Blood wouldn't be too bad in a vampire deck. Only vampires would actually use it. Unless they kind of do a splash effect where they splash some vampires just to tap for this effect. But New Blood, I can see that in Modern. So, going on, Patron of the Vein, 6 mana, 4/4, flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature and opponent controls. And then whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, exile it and put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. So it's a super insane exiling effect for creatures, your opponent's creatures. And also it's a lord to pump your vampires. So it's a really good card. Nonetheless, so that one's definitely a good commander card. Probably won't see it anywhere else though, like a ton of these. I'm gonna try. I don't want to try ruining my eyes trying to read all that. So, Evanescence. Whenever another non-token wizard enters the battlefield under your control, if she's command zone or battlefield, you may pay 1. If you do, create a token that's a copy of the wizard. The token gains haste and exile at the beginning of the next end step. And you also could tap 5 untapped wizards to make someone lose 7 life, which is really good. Grixis Wizards is going to be insane. A lot of people can get behind it, like it's mentioned in the comments. If you actually use this website, you can go through it. It does have a similar feel to Riku, but more wizard-like. And actually, I will admit, it's a really good card. A really good card. There's a lot of wizards you can copy. Like, some people, you can copy Snapcaster Mage. So you're getting 2 flashback effects. You can copy Venser. You have to sacrifice a token, obviously, but you get 2 effects of Venser, which is really insane. So yeah, that one's a good card. Obviously, you won't see that in Legacy unless someone goes crazy and does some sort of crazy way to make it viable in Legacy, but I highly doubt it. Commander is probably just the home where that Anella Archmage Ritualist will be. Heirloom Blade, 3 mana to play, 1 to equip. Equipped creature goes +3/+1. Whenever equipped creature dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card that shares a creature type with it. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So yeah, that one's interesting. Hold on, let me read it one more time. Okay, yeah, so you basically, whenever the equipped creature dies, reveal it. You can reveal cards until you reveal the next creature card that shares a creature type with it. So yeah, these tribal decks are super tribal friendly. A lot of people, at least for Commander, have been wanting tribal support. Some of these cards just work in all types of tribal decks. So if equipped creature's dies, here's another. It goes to your hand, and then the rest cards go in your bottom of your library in random order, so you can, in a sense, shuffle to make them randomized. That's the only way to really do that. In a real card game and MTGO, that's just the effect of the actual game itself. So the next one is 3 mana, 1/3 menace. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles a card from his or her hand face down. You may look at the card and play cards exiled with this. This is kind of a okay card for Commander. Like, you do have to be careful. If you don't have the colors, you can't cast it. It's kind of one of those Spectre effects. I'm sure there's a couple of Spectres in the Thesaurus. Yeah. Okigami. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, it's not a bad card. That one's a card I don't suggest showing up in any other format other than Commander. Well, I take that back. You can play a casual, just 60 card vampire deck with that in it. It'll be casual and Commander. It's only constructed format you'll see it in is Commander. Unless you consider a constructed format as casual constructed. So the next one is Kindred Dominus. Choose a creature type, destroy all creatures that are not of the chosen type. So it's like, oh, I have a lot of vampires. I'm going to protect my vampires and destroy all non-vampires, basically. So yeah, it's basically that. Commander, worthy only. I don't see anywhere else. Commander, casual. Kindred Boon. Enters battlefield, choose a creature type. You pay 2 to put the divinity counter On target creature you control with the chosen type, all creatures with a divinity counter become indestructible. That's insane. Some people in the comments are talking about Myogen decks. Of course, they only have 5 Myogens. It really is meh. But these would be able to, you just pay 2, like, throw on one of your Myogens, sacrifice, get the effect, or remove counter, get the effect, and do it again and again and again. Outside of Myogen, it really is a really good card to protect if you're running a white deck. Vampires get it. Some zombies are now starting to get it. Soldiers, clerics. Clerics are going to love it. Oh, now my cleric's indestructible, so I'm getting all the cleric effects. Slivers are going to love it. There's a lot of decks that love it. And honestly, some tribal decks in Modern, I can see this actually making it into Modern through, like, even the new setup of, or some of the ways I mentioned in one of my other videos, as well as the new core sets coming out. This would be a way, throw it in there, see if someone can try to get some janky combo going and, make it work, is what I'm saying. Outside of that, it probably won't be ran at all. Then this one, Colossus La Bouche. It's Galecaster Colossus. I don't know how to pronounce it in, I think, Italian or whatever. Tap an untapped wizard you control, return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. That's an insane effect for wizards. That's a giant wizard too, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it's an insane effect though. A lot of people are going to love using that card in wizards. Wizard decks just are now the insane decks to be popping up in Commander, and I know for a fact that blue is like probably one of the strongest colors out there of how flexible it is on its kind of removal, kind of bouncy, counterspellish. Yeah, blue is an insane color. And this card is going to work in a lot of wizard decks. As long as they have blue for some reason. So let's see, we got 2 more rows left, so I'm going to hurry through them. Vindictive Lich. I think actually it was in English on the other side. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. When it dies, choose 1 or more. Each mode must target a different player. Sacrifices a creature, discards 2 cards, or the target opponent loses 5 life. It's a really good way to be like, okay, who wants to block this? If not, I'm going to go after the strongest player. Once it dies, I get to start stripping things away. It is really a targeted. You gotta, and politics will play into the game with this one. So, honestly, it's kind of a cool effect, interesting effect. But, and zombie decks, I will say this: zombie decks may play it more than wizard decks, but wizard decks may or may not. Wizards do have a ton of wizard creatures, so I'm sure they'll want to pick up another wizard instead. They'll do something more than this. One of the first commanders of the wizards, or one of the commanders of the wizards, actually I already passed one, so haha. Second commander of the wizard is Marsil of the Pretender. Get back down there. Enters the battlefield. You may exile target an artifact or creature counter from your hand or graveyard and put a cage counter on it. He basically has the activated abilities of all cards you own in exile with cage counters on them. You may only activate each of those abilities only once each turn. Whoo! That's insane. You may only activate each. Okay, so each ability can only be activated once a turn. At first I thought it was like you can only activate one of those abilities once a turn. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to be corrected on that. But still, it's still a good. It's a great wizard. Like if you don't have to build a wizard deck around this. You just build a crazy jank deck around it. Even though there's some wizards you could use like Mamnarch and a few others, but non-wizards, oh yeah. Exile an artifact or creature, so you find a way of like untapping. You have an artifact that untaps an artifact or a creature, and you just go keep chaining and keep chaining. So, and he dies, comes back, he still has the effects, which is insane. It would be a fun commander to play around, play with. So the next one is Portal Mage. Flash, in his battlefield during a declared attack or step, you may reselect the the player or planeswalker that the target is attacking, that the target attacking creature attacks. Mouthful. This one's really interesting. It's a blue card that plays with combat steps. It's going to be really good. I bet in Legacy they're going to use it to save a planeswalker, or use it to save themselves and kill a planeswalker. Commander obviously going to use it. Honestly, I could see it if it works the way I'm thinking. I could probably see it maybe as a sideboard of one of in Modern for combat tricks. If you have a ton of planeswalkers, you can kind of change their attacks. You want to save your planeswalker, take a few damage, or you want to, like I said, save yourself to have the planeswalker die. That could happen. But outside of that, I don't see it really being played much other than in multiplayer games. Magus of the Mind, 6 mana, 4/5. Sacrifice Magus of the Mind. I don't know why I clicked it, but whatever. Shuffle your library and exile the top X cards, where X is 1 plus the number of spells cast this turn. Until end of turn, you may play cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. So it's basically a Mind's Desire without the Storm effect. And they're starting to, every commander set so far I've noticed, they've always had a new Magus come out, outside of the ones that came out in the Time Spiral block. They're really good. I will admit, they were really good types of cards for a commander setting. Tagging Sidisi's hand, 5 mana, 3/4. You skip your draw step. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and rest onto your graveyard. Then you exile X cards from your graveyard and target creature, gets -X to -X. So it's an alright commander. I personally don't care to use it. I don't like stuff going to my graveyard unless I'm dedicated deck building, and this is a card I would personally not use as a graveyard shenanigan type deck. I feel like there's others out there. So yeah, that's me personally. Outside of that, it's still a pretty good card. A lot of people are going to try deck building around it. Plus, I hate the idea of skipping your draw step, unless there's even more. Like, you do get a look at the top 3 cards. Maybe if it, I think it would be better if it actually chose either graveyard or shuffle back in library, put them on the bottom. I think that would be better. But you actually have to, choose the other 2. They either go here or go there. So if you wanted one in the graveyard, one in the library, not to choose that, because that'd be pretty powerful nonetheless. Outside of that, yeah, it's whatever. Then the last commander for Wizards, 4 mana, 3/4, Kess, Descendant Mage, flying. During each of your turns, you may cast an instant sorcery card from your graveyard. If the card cast this way was put in your graveyard, exile instead. That's interesting. So basically, you get a flashback every turn of instants and sorceries. So this is going to be a fun card for those instant sorcery style decks. Maybe a good commander for it, so you can use some of the other cards with it whenever you can, that benefit from instant sorceries, like I'm trying to remember the one that creates 1/1 tokens, Tolerant, those kind of cards. So yeah, that one's a really good card for that, and I actually like it. Some of the cards, I will admit, are usually Izzet that run around instants and sorceries, and I'm sure Draw New. Okay, well, they're commanders. These aren't the ones I was referring to, but their commanders actually work with casting instances of sorceries. So here's another card for that. Shifting Shadow, 3 mana. Enchanted creature has haste, and at the beginning of your upkeep, destroy this creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into the battlefield and attach this to it, and put all of the cards revealed this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. So that is a really good card. 3 mana. You basically start, it's kind of like a polymorph, or not, kind of a polymorph in a sense, where, so you get a good creature out, and it has a good enter the battlefield, leave battlefield effects. Especially if you built a deck based around that. Like, say, for example, you put on Solemn Simulacrum, you then sacrifice at the beginning of next turn, get, say, an Acidic Slime with haste. So that's really good. The only downside is if it's destroyed, it's gone, but the effect is still good. This would be a card I would like to see in Modern. See how some people would play around with this. There's a lot of removal to counter it, so it's not going to be super explosive. But outside of that, it's going to be really good. And then the last one is it Chemister? 3 mana, 1/3 creature, or the creature Goblin Chemister has haste. 1 red, exile an instant sorcery card from your graveyard, and then you pay 2 to sacrifice this to cast any numbers without paying mana cost, or any of those cards without paying mana cost. I actually like it's a good card. The only downside is I wish it was like a 0/4. I personally think would be better. Then maybe Legacy may or may not pick it up, but I highly doubt they'll actually use this to mana. It's too slow. But for Commander, oh, this thing is awesome. This thing is a really good card. Exile an instant sorcery card from your graveyard. So basically all you're doing is find a way of protecting this, and you just start bashing it. Modern, I will say, Modern, if they could fit this in a way into Modern, either if they bring it back as another Ravnica block or set or, whatever, they go back to there, or if they actually bring it into a core set, I think this would be a great card for Modern, especially since you pay 1 on turn 2, or like turn 1 you find a mana ramp dork, turn 2 you play Lightning Greaves, turn 3 you play this, and turn 4 you start, casting certain spells, and, it makes it really interesting. And maybe turn 1 would be a Thoughtseize or a Serum Visions, So Modern, this card would be good in Modern. I would say it would easily be good in Modern. So, but yeah, those are the cards I see. A lot of them are really great for Commander. This is a super insane 4 decks. Like the only thing I'm disappointed with Commander this time around is they only have 4 decks instead of 5. I know they had like zombies, but they or any of those other high popular decks, a lot of people may have liked or hated. I think instead of just like a few thoughts on a few tribes they could have worked with is instead of just zombies, they could have made zombie skeletons and or like an undying deck or something. Where you have zombies, skeletons, and specters. That'd be kind of cool. So you're kind of 3 tribes in one. It'd be kind of crazy though, because all these are like wizards, dragons. But like I said, I think vampires and cats. I'm surprised on the cats though. I'm like, huh? Well, they could have another tribe they could actually focus on some is wolf, hound, and fox, kind of. They're all kind of the dog family, so that would have been an amazing type of deck, a Naya deck that's just wolves, hounds, and foxes, and they support each other. Then you could use some of the stuff from Innistrad blocks to, work with wolves and werewolves, and, But besides that, yeah, I think it's kind of cool. These are some amazing sets, decks. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on all this time around 2017 Commander. And please like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Again, thanks for watching. This is Anditesh Ordo, and you have a wonderful day.